India has decided to invite Australia to the international naval exercise Malabar this year. Nepal has banned all private Indian television news channels. Boeing completes delivery of 22 Apache and 15 Chinook helicopters to India. And the US has cleared a $23 billion sale of F-35 fighter aircraft to Japan. That's the mix this Friday, the 10th of July. I'm Saurabh Joshi and you're listening to StratPost Daily. India has decided to invite Australia to the international naval exercise Malabar this year, in a move that appears calculated to demonstrate India's strategic autonomy and is likely to annoy communist China. The naval exercise is usually conducted only with the US Navy and the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. With the inclusion of Australia in the exercise, the idea of the Quad grouping of the four non-communist Chinese Indo-Pacific powers being a military construct has been settled, something that China has been concerned about. Military chiefs of the four countries have always so far denied the four-nation grouping had a military aspect to it. Bloomberg reported on Friday that the exercise would see the navies of the four countries conducting maneuvers in the Bay of Bengal at the end of the year. This comes as India continues to deal with a Chinese incursion in the northern border region of eastern Ladakh. Nepal has switched off access to all Indian television news channels except for India's state-run Doordarshan. This move comes after a dispute came to fore over an Indian border territory called Lipulekh, over which Nepal has underlined a claim recently. Since then, the communist government of Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has been subjected to criticism on Indian television news, with some news broadcasts insinuating an improper relationship between Nepal's Prime Minister and the ambassador of Communist China to Nepal, Hu Yanqi, who is widely speculated to exercise unusual influence in Kathmandu's corridors of power. Boeing announced on Friday that it had completed delivery of 22 AH-64 Apache and 15 CH-47 Chinook helicopters to India. In a statement, the US aerospace and defense manufacturer said that the final 5 of the 22 Apache attack helicopters were handed over to the IAF at Air Force Station Hindon. The statement added that earlier in March, Boeing handed over the last 5 of 15 CH-47 Chinook heavy-lift helicopters to the IAF. Boeing's joint venture with Tata Boeing Aerospace Limited, is producing aerostructures for the Apache helicopter at their Hyderabad facility. Parts of the Chinook are also produced in India, including the crown and tail cone assembly. The US Defense Security Cooperation Agency has notified the US Congress of State Department approval of a $23 billion sale of 105 Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II Joint Strike Fighter aircraft to Japan on Thursday. Japan has asked for a mix of 63 F-35A conventional takeoff and landing aircraft and 42 F-35B short takeoff and vertical landing aircraft, along with 110 Pratt & Whitney F-135 engines. Japan has also announced plans to build its own stealth fighter by the year 2031 to replace its F-2 fighter, which is modeled on the US F-16. The Japanese government has budgeted $260 million for the FX program for the year 2020 alone. Earlier reports had speculated about the possibility of a Japanese partnership with the United Kingdom on the British Tempest next-generation fighter aircraft development program. The UK's BAE Systems has been consulting on Turkey's TFX fighter aircraft development program as well. That's it for today. If you like this podcast, consider subscribing to it on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. It takes 10 seconds and costs you nothing. And if you're active on social media, don't forget to follow StratPost on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, wherever you find convenient, to make sure you don't miss anything. I'll see you guys Monday.